Hi, welcome to the Bushnell's Basin Fire Department Virtual Open House. I'm Assistant Chief Rich Tantello. Unfortunately, this year we're unable to host our annual open house due to COVID-19, but we haven't forgotten about you. Today we're hosting a drive-through event and a virtual open house. Here's a message from Chief Bain.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the live stream virtual open house for the Bushnell's Basin Fire Department for the year 2020. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to have an open house event like we normally do, which seems to have been very popular with the community this year. But due to coronavirus and taking proper precautions, we want to make sure that the safety of the public is our main focus. This year we're going to be doing things a little bit different. Obviously we're going to be doing this live stream, and we're also going to have basically what we're going to call this year a virtual drive-through, where you're welcome to drive down on October 10th and drive around the fire station, and we will be handing out bags with coloring books and helmets for the kids and information on fire prevention and fire safety in the home. The Bushnell's Basin Fire Association covers about a 5.5 square mile section of the town of Perrinton. We respond to anywhere between 500 and 600 calls a year. This year we've actually been down just because of the COVID pandemic. We're down in calls because people just weren't out and moving around and doing what they do on a normal basis. We call ourselves a fire association or a fire department, but we're more of an emergency service compared to what we used to be. We also respond to motor vehicle accidents. We respond to fires with other fire districts. Wires down, smells, automatic alarms are a lot of the calls that we go to in a year's time. We do occasionally go to a structure fire within our own district, and like I said, we do respond as part of the mutual aid plan here in Perrinton or wherever we're needed in Monroe County. We will respond. We do this all with a 100% volunteer force, and we are always recruiting and looking for new members to come down and be part of the Basin family. So the way that we keep our skills sharp is we drill or train every single Monday night except for major holidays. We train from 7 o'clock at night until about 9 o'clock at night. About 9 o'clock at night, 9:30, we'll break down, we'll clean up, and then we usually gather in the lounge and watch TV, and there's some basic camaraderie. I've been a member of this fire department for more than 42 years. It's been a great experience. It's been a great way to give back to the community, and it's a great way to serve the community. Firefighters are obviously well respected, as are everybody in emergency services, and being part of this organization for the past 42 years has been a really great experience for me. And we have a lot of people that are here 40 plus years, 45. We have a member that just celebrated last year his 55th year as a firefighter here in this organization. So I invite you, if you would like to, come on down any single Monday night, watch what we do. If you have any interest in firefighting whatsoever, please do not hesitate. We have a website, bushnellsbasinfd.org, that you can get onto and send a message to me, the fire chief, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. So we also have an Explorer Post. Explorer Post is for young men and women, ages 14 to 21, to come down to the fire station and be part of learning what firefighting is all about. I actually started as a fire explorer many decades ago, and I actually went through and I wound up having a career as a firefighter because of it. And like I said, I've served as a member for over 42 years here. The explorers meet on Thursday nights, meet every Thursday night except during testing time for school. So if your son or daughter is interested in learning about firefighting or they have an interest in it, by all means, we can provide a number for you to contact for them to come down and get associated and acclimated with the Explorer program. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve this community, and we really appreciate the public's support. Unfortunately, once again, because of coronavirus, we're not going to be able to do the open house, and it's something that we look forward to as firefighters every year, is meeting the public and seeing the children and watching their faces when they're walking around the fire trucks. So we would like to thank you for your continued support, and back to you, Rich.
Thanks, Chief. Up next is Vice President Bill Morris with some important information.
All right, well, thanks, Rich. Always great to hear from him. Great firefighter, great friend. So I'm Bill Morris, Vice President of the organization, and I'm in charge of recruiting and retaining the best firefighters in the world. So what type of person would be a volunteer firefighter? Well, people that maybe they had a career in the military or in emergency services already, but they want to continue the challenge. They want to continue to help. Come on along. We have something for you to do. How about people that are new to the community? They want to meet people, get to know others, and get involved in the community. There's no better way to get to be known in the community and be able to help out. And if you're worried about not knowing anybody, bring friends. We'll take them all. How about people that are already successful in life and they want to give back to their community? Come on along. We have something for you to do. People that have a skill or an aptitude and they just want to help. This is a great organization. We will teach you how to help. We will teach you all the tasks you need to do to be a firefighter. You bring that caring aspect and we'll take care of everything else. When you're ready and we're ready, you'll be out fighting fires and helping other people. This is what we're all about, just helping the community. So the best part about this organization is we all come from different walks of life, come together and help out. We really and truly mirror our community. Our community is diverse and we're just as diverse as an organization. There's something for you to do here and you will absolutely fit in. So come on along. Thank you very much for your time. Now I'd like to pass it off to my boss, our president, Mike Broderick.
I'm Mike Broderick, president of the association. And just to let you know, we have two different sides of the organization. The fire department side, which you're all familiar with, the fire trucks going on responses, training, community outreach. Well, the organization is run by a board of directors. It's made up of president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, assistant treasurer, two trustees, and we have all three of the chief fire officers on the board of directors also. We conduct the business of the organization. We establish the budget that's submitted to the town of Parenton. We work closely with the town of Parenton, and then we actually control the bylaws, the constitution of the organization, and basically we run the day-to-day business where the fire line officers run the training and emergency response side. It's a little complicated at times, but we tend to smooth everything out. We have approvals from not only the board, but we do go to the membership for transparency because we are a private corporation that contracts to the town of Parenton. We're one of few organizations like this left in the state of New York, and we're really quite proud of what we've been able to do since we were founded in 1940. I joined in 1971, and we've done nothing but grow into a real forerunner in the emergency services field. It's a well-respected organization, and as always, come down and visit because we're looking for members, fire side and civil side. So please come down, help us. We're all 100% volunteer, so it's our attempt to keep the taxes down, and we're very proud of what we've accomplished over the years and what we'll continue to accomplish with your support. Thank you, and hope to see you in the future.
Recruitment is always important here at Bushnell's Basin Fire Department. Many people don't know that we're 100% volunteer and we need you to help your community. And up next, here is Lieutenant Weiland and firefighter Ben Tyne.
So turnout gear is important because it protects us when we go into dangerous situations such as fires or other hazardous situations that we cannot expose our skin to. So I'm going to have Lieutenant Weiland pick out pieces of his turnout gear and put them on as I am telling you guys what it is. So to start, we have our Nomex hood. Our Nomex hood is to protect our neck and ears when we're in hot conditions. From there, we're gonna jump to the boots and the pants. So all you have to do is jump into your boots and put on your pants. As he puts on his suspenders as well, make sure they're tight down. So now that he has his Nomex hood on and his pants, he's gonna put his radio strap on. So the radio gets secured by this elastic piece here, and it gets clipped in. And then there's a spot to clip the radio up here at the top, whether you want it lower or higher. Now he's going to put his coat on. The coat comes on, and it goes over the Nomex hood, which is protecting your neck. He's going to zip the zipper up, and then we've got a Velcro here. Once the coat is on, the radio unclips from the radio strap, and it hangs here. And if he turns to his side here, you'll notice the radio can sit here, and he can see what channel he's on. So if we have him turn back, you'll notice the cord is underneath the coat. The cord on a radio is the weakest point of the radio, and it is important for us as firefighters to keep in contact with everyone when need be. Say something were to go wrong or we find something that is important. So being with the cord underneath the coat is rated for a higher temperature than the cord is. The coat will protect the cord. Moving on from there, we're going to put our helmet on. And after the helmet, we are going to put our gloves on. You're going to notice that Lieutenant Weiland's helmet is red, and we have a black helmet and a white helmet here. Black helmet is the general firefighter. The red helmet is a lieutenant or captain, and the white helmet is a chief officer. As you can see, this is the top of the line gear, Morning Pride. It is rated up to 1,000 degrees for 17 seconds. It is important for us to have new gear that is state-of-the-art to protect us as volunteers. If you're interested in finding out how to get your own set of gear custom tailored to yourself, visit us on our website or come down any Monday night at 7 p.m. Back to you, Rich.
Wow, some great information from Lieutenant Weiland and Firefighter Tyne. Fire gear is very important to us as it keeps us safe during all environments. Up next is Lieutenant Rummel with SCBA.
Thank you, Rich. All right. My name is Sven Rummel. I'm a lieutenant here at Bushnell's Basin, and I'm going to talk to you about SCBAs. That is self-contained breathing apparatus. So the reason I want to talk about this little piece of equipment is because this is what keeps firefighters alive in a fire. What kills you in a fire is not really the fire as such, it's the smoke and all the stuff in the air. That's why, you've been told if there's a fire in your house, get down low and crawl to an exit as quickly as possible. That's so you don't breathe in all that bad stuff. And this is what helps us to go into that same fire without doing the same. So, a couple of things here. You got the air tank. This is what contains the air. It's a 45-minute bottle. It means we have roughly 45 minutes of air. At about a third of that time, we're going to get an alarm. And if that goes off, it means it's time to get out of the building. A couple other features. The regulator. This supplies the air to the mask. It goes as such. It's now hooked into the mask. This mask is a positive pressure system. That means that once you start breathing in, it is constantly supplying the mask with air. Why is that important? Because if this gets cracked, a seal gets loose, the air is pushed out of the mask. Again, keeping all the bad stuff out is the goal of the whole system. Now, I'm going to turn it on here. So, you heard that sound turning on? That sound was the Viber alert. You're going to hear that same buzzing if it gets to a third. That's basically what the alarm is like. Now, what if a firefighter is injured? They can't move. What happens then? How do we know somebody is injured? Again, they've been hit on the head, something's gone wrong. The pack starts to alarm. slowly, then more insistently, and finally goes into that one, and then the ultimate one. So you all heard that sound at the end? That was the pack going into alarm. We know that if we hear that, something has gone wrong. There's a firefighter in trouble and we need to get them out. So, talking a bit more about the air supply, I mentioned it was a positive pressure system. So I'm going to go on air here and you'll hear it when I start breathing, it's going to start supplying me with air. So you can hear now, it's a bit difficult to hear me talk through this mask. And that's because, well, there's a giant piece of plastic on my head. So we have to be very careful in a fire that we communicate out of these vents here. These are specially designed so that things don't come in through them, but that we can still hear a radio through them. So we will place our radio right here so that we can talk to the outside. Now, if I take this off, there, you hear all that air rushing out? As I mentioned, it's a positive pressure system. It keeps giving us air. Okay, so, you might not recognize me, but this is still Lieutenant Sven Rummel. So, this is what a firefighter will look like when he comes to your house or it's going to a fire. Fully geared up, fully encapsulated. So remember, if you see a firefighter like this, he's here to help you. This is what he looks like. A lot of gear, but this is what keeps us safe in a fire. That's all I have on the SCBA. Back to you, Rich.
Thanks, Lieutenant Rummel. That's some great information on our SCBAs. Up next is ladder truck and the engine.
So welcome back once again. We're going to go through the type of equipment that we use here at Bushnell Basin Fire Department. Our rolling stock basically breaks down into several different categories. We have chief's vehicles, which are each one of the 3 chiefs is given a vehicle to drive during the term that they hold the office of chief, first assistant chief, or second assistant chief. We also have 3 pumpers that we run, and we'll get into that in a little bit. We have a ladder truck, an aerial platform, and we have a rescue truck. Each one of these vehicles has a different job to do and has a different use on the fire ground. The vehicle here to my left is pumper 314. It's a 2014 rescue pumper. It was made by 4 Guys Manufacturing out of Myersdale, Pennsylvania. We are also in the process of getting ready to receive a new pumper, which is going to be a Pierce Enforcer, which is due end of October, beginning of November, and we're very excited about the delivery of a new fire truck because it's always a big deal when you get a new fire truck. So let me tell you a little bit about pumper 314. 314 has the ability to carry 8 firefighters, usually a driver, an officer, and 6 firefighters sitting in the back. The firefighters that are en route to a fire on this truck have the ability to put their SCBAs, a self-contained breathing apparatus, is what we use in hazardous environments in order to breathe. It carries 750 gallons of water. It has a pumping capacity of 2,000 gallons of water per minute. It carries 1,500 feet of supply line. Supply line is the hose that you see coming from the hydrant to the fire truck. We have several different hand lines of several different sizes, from 200 feet to 300 feet up to 600 feet total if we need it off the back of the truck. This also carries extrication tools. This carries a spreader, it carries a cutter, and it carries a ram, hydraulic ram. They're all battery operated. There's several different hand tools on this truck. We have fans. So this can kind of be a self-supporting vehicle in its own right. This is the truck that we send on mutual aid calls to other fire departments when there's a structure fire, and it's our main truck that goes out for right now until the delivery of the new pumper, and a new pumper is put in service. We'll flip-flop back and forth depending on what type of call, depends on what truck goes out the door first. So the types of calls that we respond to with this truck is basically anything that we get a call for, unless it's specifically requested to be another piece of apparatus, this truck is going to go out the door. It's going to go to structure fires. It's going to go to automatic alarms. If your carbon monoxide detector goes off in your house, this truck will respond. We actually have 2 fire stations. We have this one here on Craig Road. We have another fire station at the corner of Garnsey Road and Route 250, and that's actually a shared station. As you look at the front of the fire station, Bushnell's Basin occupies the right side of the station, and Egypt Fire Association occupies the left side of the station. The members that live in that particular area respond to that fire station during its hours of operation. So this truck will also go to motor vehicle accidents. We run many, many motor vehicle accidents, probably well over 100 motor vehicle accidents a year. The truck that's next to this one is the rescue truck. And the rescue truck, which will be covered by one of my officers in a later video, is basically a toolbox on wheels. And I won't get ahead of him too much by telling you what's on that truck. But really, there's not too much that we can't do as far as special operations, lifting, cutting, spreading, salvage work with that truck is that's its main job. The main job of the pumper is to respond and get water on the fire. So as I mentioned before, we're an all-volunteer fire organization here. We take pride in our equipment that we respond with. As I stated earlier, we are an emergency service. We're not just a fire department anymore. We provide the training, whether it is training in firefighting, hazardous materials, CPR, emergency medical services, anything that's associated with the fire rescue or the fire department, we respond to and we train for. So we provide the best training that we can for our members. We have the best equipment that we can buy, we can afford, and we are able to handle most of the situations that we respond to when we're asked.
Hi, my name is Sean Dean. I'm a lieutenant here with the Bushnell Basin Fire Department. I've been with the department since 1991, which is about 29 years to the date that I joined in October of 91. I'm here to talk about our Quint 310, which is our ladder truck here. This is our 102-foot KME platform ladder truck. We use it for a variety of different things. We use it for ventilating a building during a house fire, but we can also use it for rescuing people from a tree or something like that. This district really don't have a whole lot of tall buildings, but we have a lot of buildings that are far off the street that really can't get very close, so the length of the ladder allows us to be able to do those types of things. It has a pump on it, so we can put some fires out if we need to, if the pumper truck is not there in time. We also have a variety of different equipment that we can use to do different types of rescues. It's an honor to be a member of the Bushnell Basin Fire Department and support the community and have their support over the years. Thank you very much.
How's it going? My name is Lieutenant Weiland, and this is Firefighter Tyne. Today we're going to be talking to you about our 2009 Spartan rescue truck, as we know it as 318. This truck, fully loaded, weighs 47,000 pounds, and what it is a big toolbox. The only thing it doesn't have on it is water. It does not carry water. So we're going to take a look into the trucks, or into the compartments today, and see what we can find. In our first compartment, we have a bunch of Hearst tool equipment. So in our first compartment, we have our portable power system, so we can actually take that off the truck and take it anywhere we need to go. We also have a spreader cutter combo, so we can spread sheet metal or cut metal. If you get in an accident, that tool can do it all. We also have a couple rams in there, so we can use the rams to expand areas, make it bigger, so it's easier to access you if you're getting in an accident. Second compartment we have is our cascade system, and what that is so we can recharge our air bottles once we deplete them on the scene of a call. We have a lot of air bottles for all of our members. This truck actually gets called out a lot to different departments just for that system. We go anywhere in Monroe County or anywhere in Ontario County for that system. So up on the top of the truck, we have a bunch of different things up there. We have a bunch of wooden cribbing, which is what we use to stabilize vehicles so they don't move very much when we're working with them. We also have our water rescue equipment and rope rescue equipment. So you'll see a lot of ropes up there and bags and stuff like that. We also have an inflatable boat up in there, so it'll help us with our water rescue. If someone's like in the canal or something like that, we can get to you with a boat. Also on top is we have a light tower that has 6 different lights on it that we can use to light up a scene at any time we needed to. It literally is like looking into the sun. It's that bright, and it helps us see what we're doing and helps us get the job done. So in the back compartment on this truck, we have winch cables, or a winch, so we can move medium-sized stuff if we need to, pull a tree out of the road or pull a car somewhere away from a wall or something. We also have our safety cones, so when we get out on the highway or any road that we need to block off, we can block off that road and protect our members. We have a bunch of tarps, just in case like there's a fire or something. We gotta cut a hole in the roof. We can tarp that roof over so it protects from the weather coming in, to protect the homeowner's home more. We also have chainsaw, so we can cut trees or anything if these trees come down during a windstorm. And we also have a lockout kit, so if anything happens where you lock your keys inside your car or whatever, we can get into your car without damaging it. Then over here in the front, we got the cool stuff. Follow me over here. So up front here, we have our hearse tools, or as a lot of people call them, the jaws of life. Up here we have a spreader and a cutter. Ben, do you want to pull one of them out? So what we have here is our cutters. We can use these to cut you out of a bad situation. If you're ever in a bad car wreck or whatever we need to use these for, we can get it done. Back to you, Rich.
Thanks, Lieutenant Weiland. That's some great information on our rescue tools. I want to thank you, the community, for continuing to support us, and that's why we have such great equipment. Up next is Captain Bob Winnick on fire prevention activities.
Thanks, Rich. I'm Bob Winnick. This is Dave Clark, and we're 2 of the members of the Bushnell Basin Fire Police. Our function is a little bit different than the rest of the firemen. What happens is we are there to protect the firemen at a scene. Our mission is to set up a safe zone for them to work in. And it's not always easy because that safe zone sometimes has to be established in traffic or at a scene for a fire where there's multiple exposures. But to do that, we do have equipment, and one of the things that we have is a fire police vehicle. The vehicle is termed 317. 317 is basically a command vehicle, portable radios, some barricades and cones that we can use to divert traffic if we have to, for example, in a motor vehicle accident, or as you hear announced, sometimes an MVA. Dave, go ahead and open the hatchback there, and we'll show you some of the equipment that we carry to provide that safe zone for the firemen to work in. We have cones that we can use to divert traffic or create a temporary barricade. And at nighttime, we can even affix a light onto this. And I think you've seen this out at other scenes when you have to move traffic over a lane or actually even barricade a road. Speaking of a barricade, we have these, which are easily set up and unfolds, and this also again helps detour the traffic flow if we need to when establishing that safe zone for the firemen to work in. One of the things that we do at the department here also is public education on fire safety. It's important, it keeps the community safe, and we pass on those tips which we think can help them have a safe environment in their home. First off, in fire safety, you have to make sure that the small children are always in a safe position. Of course, when you're cooking in the kitchen, pots should be back farther on the stove if possible. Use the rear burners. Handles, which a little one can reach up and grab, should again be not something easily that they can reach and touch, handles swung back. Matches, again, just like with the stove, you want to make sure that you create a safe environment for them by putting those matches in a place which is inaccessible to them. Now with the holidays coming, matches are going to be used for candles and other things. Keep the matches well out of the way and out of their hands. Speaking candles, they have now on the market electronic candles which just light up with an LED. Use batteries, much safer than having an open flame in the house. Also, if you don't have fire smoke detectors in your home, please install them. They can save your life. And check twice a year that you have good batteries in there. There's a test mode you can put the alarm into. Make sure it's working to protect you and your family. Speaking of protecting you and your family, there is a drill they call EDITH, Exit Drill in the Home. Essentially what EDITH does is it shows you the steps that you can have to set up a safe drill and exit from your home in case of fire or smoke. What you want to do is be able to get everybody out of the house safely to a general pre-established meeting area. Oh, by the way, once you're out, you stay out. So the brochure will also give you the ideas of how to pre-plan it. For example, making sure that you have 2 exits from every room in your home. If you'd like that, stop by. We have a supply of them for your use, and also some other ones which you might find helpful. So please, don't hesitate. If you would like them, stop by. They're available to you. Thank you. Back to you, Rich.
One of the tools to keep you and your family safe is fire extinguishers. Now to talk about them is firefighter Casey Jackson.
Thanks, Chief Rich. Hi folks, firefighter Casey here, and today I'm going to talk to you about fire extinguishers. Now let me ask you, have you ever thought to yourself, wow, it would be great to have a fire extinguisher in my house, but you didn't know what type of fire extinguisher to have, or where to buy it, or what kind? Well, we're going to answer those questions for you today. But first, we have to understand what kind of fires might occur in our house. You could have a fire that involves trash in a wastebasket. You could have a fire that involves grease on a stove that flares up. You could have an electrical appliance that fails. All of those are possibilities. So knowing what kind of fires could occur in your home will help us to decide what type of fire extinguisher we want to buy. So in general, you would like to have an ABC fire extinguisher. Class A fire is ordinary combustibles, which is the trash can fire. Class B fires are flammable liquids, which could be gasoline or some other liquid like that. And Class C fire is an electrical fire. Preferably, like I said, we'd like to have an ABC fire extinguisher. There are just BC fire extinguishers out there. Perfectly acceptable, perfectly okay. But we would really like to have an ABC fire extinguisher. It covers the majority of the type of fires that you might occur or might have in your home. The number one cause of fires in residential facilities, residential homes, are cooking fires. So we need to be careful to select the right type of fire extinguisher, because selecting the wrong type of fire extinguisher may actually make the fire worse. So now that we've discussed what type of fire extinguisher you want to buy for your home, let's discuss when we should use a fire extinguisher. You only want to use a fire extinguisher when you're comfortable and you're confident in doing so. If you're not comfortable, don't attempt to fight the fire at all. Get out of the house, go to your meeting place, make sure somebody's calling 911. However, if you are comfortable and confident in using a fire extinguisher, do so. You may be able to extinguish the fire relatively quickly, reducing the amount of damage to your house. After you have decided, yes, I can attempt to fight this fire, grab your fire extinguisher and remember CPASS. CPASS is the acronym. C being calling 911, so make sure somebody who has left the house is calling 911 or a neighbor. P means pulling the pin on the fire extinguisher. The A stands for aiming the nozzle at the base of the fire. The S stands for squeezing the handle. And the second S stands for sweeping at the base of the fire. So you'll notice I have two different size fire extinguishers here. Both of them are ABC fire extinguishers. But which one do you want to have in the home? This one weighs approximately 20 pounds. It's a little bit heavy for most people to try to use effectively. That's why we have the smaller one. This weighs approximately 4 pounds. It's easy to store in a cabinet or on a wall. And it's relatively light, as you can tell. Much easier to operate and use and handle. What if you already have an extinguisher in your home? How can you tell if it's still good or not? Well, there's two ways. One, if it has a gauge similar to this, you can look inside this window, and as long as that needle is in the green, you're good. The other type of extinguisher that you might find has a button on it. Generally, they're green, and it will be on the top of the extinguisher or somewhere near the bottom of the nozzle. If that button's out and you push it and it pops back out again, generally your extinguisher is good. If you push the button in and it stays in, chances are you're going to have to replace your fire extinguisher. The other way to tell if your fire extinguisher has to be replaced is on the label. We'll have a manufacturer's recommended replace date on there. So many years after the extinguisher was manufactured. So look for that on the label. Now, there are two types of residential extinguishers like this that you might find. A rechargeable fire extinguisher and a non-rechargeable fire extinguisher. Which is better? Well, there is no preference one way or the other. If you buy a rechargeable, obviously after it's used, you can have it recharged. If you use a non-rechargeable fire extinguisher, anytime the needle is no longer in the green or the button does not pop back up, you have to replace it. Even if you know or believe that the fire extinguisher has never been used before, you still have to replace it. You can buy an ABC or a BC fire extinguisher generally at any home store. You can buy them online if you'd like. Just make sure that when you do buy them that they come from or are marked with a listing agency. For this example, we have a UL listed fire extinguisher. So that's what you want to look for when you purchase a fire extinguisher. So now that we have our fire extinguisher purchased and it's in our house, what do we have to do to maintain it? Well, first, read the manufacturer's instructions that come with the fire extinguisher, as well as the instructions on the label of the fire extinguisher. It'll tell you exactly what you need to do and what intervals you have to do them. At the very least, every so many months, you're going to want to take the fire extinguisher out and just tip it upside down and give it a few jolts like that. That will allow the powder that is generally settles at the bottom of the extinguisher to breaken up and loosen inside the canister. And once you've done that, You can remount it or reposition it in your cabinets or wherever you have it placed in your home, and you should be good to go. So if you find that your needle in your gauge is no longer in the green and it's in red, or if you've used your fire extinguisher and it's a rechargeable type, where can you get it recharged? Well, if you look online or in your yellow pages, you can find in a fire extinguisher company that services fire extinguishers. And for a fee, they will recharge your fire extinguisher for you. Or again, you can simply replace it. Thank you very much for watching our tutorial on fire extinguishers, and I'll send you back to Chief Rich.
And next up is Captain Steve Page on EMS.
Thanks, Rich. My name's Steve Page. I'm a Bushnell's Basin firefighter for the last 27 years. One of the topics I wanted to talk about tonight is emergency medicine. Here at the fire department, we do respond with parents and ambulance, emergency medical calls such as cardiac arrest, lift assist, and we do go on all motor vehicle accidents. If any of that interests you, come on down and join the fire department. We'll give you all the training you could ever want. The paramedic part of me wants you to know, if you're not feeling well, please call 911. Don't call your family, don't call your cousin in Florida, call 911. Let us come and check you out. If you need to go to the hospital, that's great, we'll take you. We don't transport everybody, so maybe it was something simple, but let's be on the safe side, all right? Back to you, Chief Rich.
Thanks for watching today. If you have time, come on down. We'll be here from 10 a.m. to noon, showing off our fire apparatus and passing out fire prevention material. As always, the Bushnell's Basin Fire Department is 100% volunteer, and we're always looking for new members to help volunteer in their community. If you need more information, please check our website or come on down any Monday night at 7 p.m. to get information. And again, thank you to the town of Perryton and all our community members for the continued support.